Just made it to Magnus's just now. We have horrible, horrible news. So I thought this day was gonna go perfect, and then it came to a horrible halt. So right outside of Magnus's neighborhood, my trans was in 4th gear. I was just driving along, singing a song, and then it wouldn't come out of 4th gear. It's so stuck, it's never coming out ever. So the plan is buying a new trans right now. We're gonna drive up to Centralia and yeah, take this trans out, bust it out, hopefully in one day. Super bad news, but it's okay. We're gonna keep moving forward, and I'm actually happy this happened to me instead of getting a text from the new owner and yeah, having a blown trans. So that's awesome. I could just pop in a new cheap trans out of an SR5 coupe that's getting parted out in Seattle, well, I mean in Centralia, and yeah, we're gonna get stuff going. You already know we got the Subaru. We're gonna take this trusty steed. Let's go. Late night, we already got the transmission out. Thanks to these guys right here. Shout out Osteezy, shout out Magnelli the Menace.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
This is the new transmission. We popped off the bell housing because it is a SR5, so it came with the 4 CE bell housing. So I need that bell housing off that one. If you can see, the clutch fork is on the opposite side. You probably can't tell, but
just a little spit and shine.
This thing's looking mint. All we gotta do is pop the new bell housing on and then reseal it. And then
I would almost eat food off there.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. And then this is gonna go back in. This one came with a ground and it came with a better trans mount, so that'll be a lot easier for us to put in. So we're gonna take a bell housing off that one, put it on this one, and then yeah, start putting it in there.
Should be good.
Alright, so we pulled apart the shit trans. This is it right here. You can see it is completely flocked. This bearing was falling out, and I'll show you guys right over here. Underneath the bell housing, chunks of metal. Play with it, Magnus, between your fingers. Look at that. Chunks of whatever. It looks like gears, whatever. But this thing is what we need to put on the new trans. So we can't mix them up. That would suck to put this back in there. Let me look. So this is completely junk, but we still need the cross member off of it. So we're gonna pull that off, get everything on the new trans, and then reseal the bell housing. But first we gotta clean everything up super duperly. So we're gonna get to cleaning.
Super duperly.
Here, bro. We are completely done assembling the transmission. You can see we got the bell housing all gassed on there. We tightened it hand tight, and then we let it sit for a little bit so it hardened, and then we tightened it the rest of the way. Got the clutch fork and throttle bearing all assembled, and then yeah, got the cross member on and everything. We got Caitlyn Jenner right here eating quesadilla. Shout out to the guy who said he looked like Caitlyn Jenner, because he totally does. Hey, paparazzi, get back here! Check this out. Magnus has these bust down wheels, but he also has this Ninja 250 that he doesn't drive at all. It just sits here and rots.
It is, ma'am.
And look, it says Shelly is a whore.
Shelly's a slut.
So this is completely ready. We're gonna get this thing thrown in there in about any minute. Austin dipped out because he's banging his Uber driver. His Uber driver said he was cute, and now he's banging her right now. So he'll be back soon. All right, next day, you can see that the car is finally back at my house. I actually had to get it towed home last night. Shout out Austin. But the last weekend has been a horrible nightmare, and we've been trying to figure out why it hasn't started. So we put the transmission in, and it just would not start. It was just cranking to the moon. So I found out that it wasn't getting fuel. I found that out because when I was in the key on position 1, there was no priming noise, and so I wired in a whole 12 volt to the back. You can see that red wire. So I have it to a switch now, and then I was getting complete power to the fuel pump, and then it still wouldn't start. So I came over here, I checked the air fuel meter, and then I got no power to this. So no 12 volt to the fuel pump and also to this air fuel meter. I spliced in a 12 volt to this, and then still no start. So with all that, led me to believe that something else was probably messed up somewhere else. And the 86 guru told me to crack open the ECU, which is what I have right here. And you can see everything looks pretty good. And then you get around right there. Let me get that in the light. You can see that it is burnt on that little section right there. So This ECU is fried. It kind of sucks because I thought it was going to be something easier. But now that I know it's just this, I'm actually going to borrow Magnus's and then bring it back here and see if it starts with that before I order anything else, which I assume, because everyone I've showed this picture to, you cannot see it, but there we go, completely burnt. That's what it's supposed to look like, this one, and that's what it looks like, burnt. Black as some burnt toast. So this thing's garbage, and yeah, I'm gonna head over to Magnus's and I'm gonna borrow his ECU. So we will be at Mag's in 1 second. And just like that, we're back at Caitlyn Jenner's house. So I got Magnus's ECU, we plugged it inside the car, still no fire. Started going around on random forums, also posted in the AE86 group chat, and somebody told me that this relay right here should have 4 pins. It has 4 pins. 2 of them should have 12 volt. One is constant and one is goes live when you turn the ignition on. So the only one I'm getting is the one that goes live with the ignition on. So the constant one goes to this 12 amp fuse. I mean 15 amp. So when I take this out, one of these pins on this 15 amp fuse is supposed to be getting 12 volts constant with the ignition off. That's not getting it there. So I'm waiting for a reply to go what's next, but I'm really stumped. With the new trans and the exhaust on, oh, I think it's gonna sound so good. It sucks so bad that it won't start, but I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. Oh goodness, we finally did it. We did it, boys. We got it to run. It made no sense. I was like, why? Why possibly would I replace the trans and it not start? So you guys know, wasn't getting 12 volt to this fuse right there. That fuse powers this main relay. That gives power to my air fuel meter, which is right here. So you can see I broke into it right there. I still gotta fix it, but oh man, I got everything connected now and it runs. I'm so happy. See, before the check engine light wasn't coming on and now it is. So I don't think I even needed this fuel pump switch, but there's a switch here anyways, so let's just start it up. I don't want to wake up the whole neighborhood. Look at that. Look at that, baby. We did it, baby. We did it! Oh man, that is so satisfying. Don't mind my crazy hair. I've been trying to figure this out. But we got it, boys. Wait. See, that's my problem. Now I gotta start remembering to turn off the fuel pump switch. And oh yeah, I didn't even tell you what happened. So I took off this little fuse box. I was like, constant power to this. Constant power would mean it had to be straight to the battery. So this right here is my fuel pump switch, and then one of these right here had to have been the constant power to my EFI relay. So I opened this up. You can see this little flap door right there, and there was just a wire dangling from one of those little fuses, whatever you call them. And I did a little bit of my wiring magic with my whole box of things. I've been dealing with all this, and it was just that little thing. What I think happened is that when I pulled off the trans, the engine fell back a little bit, which ripped off the radiator hose and also a fuel line. So I cut the fuel line and I made it perfect so it wasn't leaking anymore. Fixed the radiator hose, popped that back on, and I assumed that when it tugged this back, a wire pulled out of the battery or out of the terminal. I'm finally getting power and it runs. So I got the exhaust on. It's not a full exhaust, but it's so it used to end right here and it's straight piped now till about right here. So it sounds a lot better. What I'm gonna do now is clean up all the wiring that I did to test what was wrong, and yeah, we're gonna go on a drive, and I'm gonna end this video out with a nice smile. I'm excited. Look at this. I took out the seat because I was just under there so much. I have all this stuff in the back seat I need to get out, and oh, I'm just so happy. I'm so happy. All right, so the car runs completely mint. I'm super stoked. Everything was going completely fine. I drove it all the way to Magnus's. We actually tried to get his car running, and yeah, we didn't get anything done on his car. We pretty much just messed with a bunch of lines and a bunch of wires, and then it still didn't run. But when I left Magnus's house, I had no clue. zero clue that this was going on. I left and there was a huge puddle of transmission fluid in his driveway. So you know what that means. This car is giving me a damn headache, that's for sure. But it's leaking. So I gotta pull the transmission again. I was told I didn't need a paper gasket when I did this, but it's looking like I need to. So it's leaking from the bell housing, which means I'm gonna pull the trans right now. But that's gonna be in the next video. I'm gonna try to pull it as fast as possible. So I'm gonna end it here, boys. Thank you for tuning in, watching the video. Yeah, this thing has been the biggest nightmare I've ever dealt with. Yeah, it's so old. But like I said, peace out. Have a good rest of your night. Peace, peace, peace.